up, class, and welcome back to the summer sessions at Icy University. Every episode is an opportunity for us to gain new insight and grow as individuals. You ready to do some growing smooches?
Yes, queen.
I know that's right. Look, we all come from a plethora of different backgrounds, but hardships and mental health spares no man. Each of us is always fighting a secret battle within. Today's class is something we can all benefit from, and that is the importance of mental health. Today's guest has been at the forefront of mental health initiatives, especially within Black and inner city communities. He has overcome obstacles, not just growing up, but in the industry as an independent artist. Class, please welcome G Herbo.
I'm coming in fast, first place, you coming in last. I'm hitting that gas. I'm hitting that.
Okay, y'all, so as promised, I have rapper, CEO, entrepreneur, father, and philanthropist here right now. Everybody, please welcome G Herbo.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
G Herbo, how you feeling?
I'm good, I can't call it. How you doing?
I'm good. It's such a pleasure to have you here today because for today's topic, it was refreshing to see you lead a campaign last year that focused on mental health and PTSD. So without further ado, let me get into the first question. Why is the mental health so important, especially for Black men in inner cities?
I'm coming in fast, first place, you coming in last. I'm hitting that gas.
It's important because where I come from, and I mean, it's going on all over the country, but me especially, where I come from, you know, Chicago, where it's a lot of like violence and stuff like that, I feel it's been a stigma placed on, you know, young Black men like myself to not process our feelings, you know, and mental health is one of the main things that you need to function on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like it just goes back to behavioral issues, you know, and Chicago is known for like violence, negativity, you know, a bunch of things where people just get an outside look in on us, and it go back to, you know, trauma that we experience, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was normal for a long time growing up, and I wasn't. You know, I experienced a lot of death, a lot of trauma, a lot of, you know, generational trauma that came from my parents, my grandparents, you know, people I looked up to, older people in my neighborhood. And I thought it was something that I should, you know, touch on because I was vulnerable through my music growing up, and I felt like I was misunderstood, you know what I'm saying? Because it would seem like I promoted violence, I promoted killing, I promoted a lot of stuff like that, but I was only a product of my environment, you know?
Right.
So it all went back to, you know, the mental state that I was in. I had to go outside and feel like I had to carry a gun to survive or carry a gun to make it home and stuff like that. And mental health goes even deeper than just violence and stuff like that. You know, it could be from just a person that feel like they lost their job, or a person that feel like they don't have the tools to, you know, make it or strive in life. So I just used like my pain and my struggle and a lot of the stuff that I went through to kind of put me in a better space. Like I didn't even really like start rapping to feel like I was gonna be this big superstar or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I started rapping. It was like a form of therapy for me. And I was my own therapist to just talk about the stuff that I seen, I experienced, you know, my day-to-day struggles and the trauma and the stuff that I've been through. So I just felt it was important as I grew as a man and an artist to talk about it, because I grew my fan base off of that. You know, and I ain't want to be misunderstood. I just wanted to be able to like speak my truth, and it all went back to, you know, mental health. So it was like a cycle for me that I just had to experience and grow up as an artist and as a man to just want to give back in that sense, you know.
Well, I think that's really important because there's probably a lot of kids who are familiar with things that you go through, and they need someone to look up to. So I'm pretty sure I speak for a lot of people. Thank you for channeling your experiences and emotions and putting them into songs to inspire and to empower men like you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's really, people looked up to me growing up. I was 16, like when I first started rapping, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was an adult at that age, I ain't gonna lie. and I wasn't able to like articulate or process my own thoughts and feelings in a way where it could help people the way I wanted them to. You know, a lot of times I was misunderstood. People probably thought I was speaking on that because I wanted to glorify my situation. But I always wanted to help myself and help others around me, you know what I'm saying? Because I had like a strong mind growing up where I just took my negative and I embraced it and I leaned more towards it just to overcome it, you know? So people thought I was leaning towards it because it was something I wanted to do, but it was something I needed to do, you know? So as I grew older and like, you know, kind of wised up a little bit, I was able to talk about it in a sense where I wouldn't say it's okay, but it's okay to understand and it's okay to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, nobody really knows what's going on.
Well, as an artist myself, I know the importance of using my platform and using my voice to spread awareness. And I can see that's what you're doing. And for my second question is, how does the idea that you have to never show emotion in order to be a real man affect you or others like you?
I'm coming in fast. First place, you coming in last. I'm hitting that gas.
That's a good question. I mean, it affects me because I am one of those men that, although I am vulnerable and I don't mind speaking on how I feel and being emotional or showing emotion, I still don't in a lot of cases, because I just feel like I'm strong enough to just put my head down and just, you know, get to where I want to be in life. But it's something, you know, growing up, you know, your mama will tell you, oh, stop crying. Boys don't cry. Or your daddy, you being soft, you know what I'm saying? But it's just an emotion. You don't really know what you feeling when you a kid, and it just goes so far where it's like, I lost a lot of friends, you know, I seen people get killed, you know, and I would go outside the next day, like the very next day, and I felt like it was normal to feel that way or normal to like not grieve or not cry. But at the end of the day, it was just a lot of pain and hurt and anger that I just built up inside of me that had to come out eventually. You know what I'm saying? We all human. So I feel like the more you bottle that pain and that aggression in, it's gonna come out, you know what I'm saying? And more than likely to come out like in a negative way. So I feel like as a man, I feel you more strong or more powerful or just, you know, more manly if you do speak about that, because we all feel it. Being in the streets, being a father, being an artist, it's so much like pressure and adversity that we do face where we feel like we're supposed to just not speak on it. And I feel like if you do speak on it, you being more manly or being more of a leader, because you helping other people who go through that, like, all right, yeah, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to speak on it, because I felt that way too. I felt this way about my brother or my friend down. I felt this way about my first contract that I signed, or, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like if more people like myself do speak out about it, or just, you know, be true to yourself, it's gonna help a lot of people, because I don't think it take away from like, you know, my masculinity and nothing like that, just being vulnerable or being emotional, because we all got feelings, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a slippery slope, because, you know, as a man, you don't really want to give too much, you know, because a lot of people just, they use it to their advantage, like in a manipulative state. Like, you don't really want to show every emotion that you're going through, but it's okay to speak on it, because everybody, you know what I'm saying, go through these same emotions.
Well, what I love about what you say and about what you're doing is that you're changing the discourse and the perception of what it means for a man to express himself. Because I agree with you, as a human being, male or female, you need to express yourself, because it can affect your mental health. For my third question, is there a correlation between you choosing to be independent and the way you grew up?
I'm coming in fast. First place, you coming in last. I'm hitting that gas.
Yeah, it is actually. And I kind of didn't even really understand what I was doing or what it was at first. It got a lot to do with the way I grew up, because when I first started rapping, I ain't gonna lie, and like my team and my management, everybody could attest to this. I had so many people that depended on me early on, like at an early age, that really depended on me. So I just felt like giving control on my brand and what I worked so hard for, it wouldn't really make sense, because now I know I could have always signed a deal early on and like been in a way better position, you know, but it was just so many people that depended on me where I probably wouldn't be able to put them in a position the way that I wanted to. And as an artist, you got to understand, like, these labels and the people who buy into your brand and buy into your vision, it's nothing wrong with that because it's a business at the end of the day, but they see dollar signs, you know, like, I know, like, people not as passionate about my music and the way I grew up and why I do music as I am. So I just always wanted to, like, believe in myself and count on myself, you know, so that is why I'm independent. I just never really wanted to, like, put my vision and my passion in nobody else's hands, because I started doing music because it was something I was passionate about. Like I said earlier, I never really saw myself becoming, like, a big superstar, although I always wanted to have money and I always wanted, like, nice things. I just was trying to get a lot of anger and frustration out of me through music, and it just, you know, created something powerful, something beautiful. So I ain't really want to get anybody else that power, like, over my passion, because I knew, like, I'm rapping for myself, but I'm rapping for the people around me. You know what I'm saying? Not only just because I want to change their lives financially, but in a mental space too. Like, a lot of the stuff that I rapped about was to get myself and my people around me, like, through dark times, you know, like, a lot of my friends that passed away were, you know, they had mothers, fathers, brothers, a lot of people who I care about and care about me. So I spoke about these things to not only help myself, but to help people better understand the life that we was living and how to overcome it. So I didn't want to really profit off of that and not be able to take care of the people that I love, you know what I'm saying? Not having nothing to do with, like, my mother and father and stuff like that, my family, because they were going to be taken care of regardless. But I just cared so much about my community and my neighborhood that I just didn't want to give nobody that power early on. I just betted on myself and it worked out for me. You know, I feel like I took the longer route, of course, but I didn't have to put myself in a situation where I was under pressure to do something anybody else's way but my own. So it had a lot to do with how I grew up, for sure.
So not only are you super talented, but you're very noble. I think that it's very, it's lovable, and it's so great to hear you want to take the people who you started with on the path with you.
Yeah.
That's great. So before you leave, I have one more question. What advice would you give to young kids growing up, going through traumatic situations, who are trying to survive mentally?
I'm coming in fast. First place, you coming in last. I'm hitting that gas.
I think I would say embrace it, you know, like, any situation that you in, especially a negative situation, and it may sound like coming from somebody like me, or you might think like, all right, you in this situation, but you gotta, like, it's better to deal with it. When you, like, facing trauma or you in your darkest times, it's better to, like, understand it and know that it's not, you can't really take it personal, because everybody go through their darkest times. You know, I went to, like, one time I went to a juvenile facility. Like, a lot of kids had, like, juvenile life and stuff like that. And I was telling them, like, man, it's not over with for you. They like, no, I got life. I got juvenile life. And when I leave here, I'm going to the joint and stuff like that. But I feel like just the system that we in, they want you to kind of, like, give up on yourself. You know what I'm saying? And the world that we live in, it's easy for you to give up on yourself. But I feel like you really shouldn't, because although you may be going through, like, trauma or experiencing a lot of stuff, people go through it all over the world and go through it, like, on a worse level, you know what I'm saying, than the normal person. So me personally, how I got through, like, my darkest times, I felt like it was something out there better for me, you know what I'm saying? I just took it for what it was, you know what I'm saying? And I got through it. So what I would say is really just believe in yourself, you know what I'm saying? Have faith, of course, you know, put your faith in God, put God first, and just understand that you can get through it, you know, no matter what it is, no matter what you're facing. Like, people from all walks of life and have always overcame their traumas and overcame their adversity, just putting their head down, you know what I'm saying? Staying 10 toes down, staying firm, and just doing whatever was necessary to get out of that situation, you know, like, I feel like I have two negatives gonna always equal positive. So you gotta, like, I don't know, you just gotta take it for what it is and keep trying to, you know, be great, for real.
Well, what I will say is your answers have been super insightful, and I feel like
Appreciate that.
the viewers have learned so much. Before you leave, I would love to plug whatever projects you're working on. You did such a phenomenal job last year with the PTSD campaign. So please tell everyone what you're working on right now.
I'm working on my album 2-5. This is, I think, my 4th studio album. Yeah, it's my fourth LP, 2-5. And I named it 2-5 because, I just turned 25 this year, but it's like the coming of age for me. I feel like I'm more wise than I ever been. And it's just me really like embracing my true self, being like a artist, a leader, philanthropist, a father, really like reaching my heights is, being a CEO and a partner in my company, just really trying to like, motivate the people who look up to me, motivate the youth and stuff like that. So I always wanted to do that through my music. I always wanted my music to like articulate my true self. So that's what 2-5 is, man. It's coming real soon, and I'm real passionate about the project coming out for sure.
It's your 5th one, right?
4th.
4th.
Yeah.
Okay, I misheard that. My bad. All
Yeah,
right.
my
So the
4th
fact
LP.
that you're independent, it's your 4th studio album, it just shows that the consistency is paying off. Thank you everybody for tuning in right now. This is G Herbo, and make sure y'all stay on the lookout for his new album coming real soon. I'll see y'all later. Class, I can't stress enough how important mental health is. Remember, everybody you know is battling something internally, so please be gentle with not only yourself, but with them as well. We are all in this together.
Thanks, Mama.
You're welcome. But before y'all leave, please make sure you stay behind for an important pop quiz on mental health. This is Professor Icy, and I will see y'all later.
Which of the following are traits of real men? A. Showing emotion. B. Seeking help. C. Being vulnerable. D. All of the above. D. All of the above.